how to get on the same page with your partner. So in today's podcast, Cece and I, we're going to go over some of the things that you can do to make sure you and your partner, you are gelling. So stay tuned.
Hey, Mr. Friends, welcome back or welcome if you're new here to our podcast. I am your host, Cece, and as always, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, hubby. How you doing, babe?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
And welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you with us. If this is your first time with us, please remember to subscribe and hit on the bell icon. So when videos like this one come out, we can tell you about it. This is a weekly podcast, and every weekend we talk about...
That's right. We talk about podcasts here. We talk about love, life, family, relationship. You guys know what we do here, right, babe?
I think they know by now.
They should know.
Been at this for almost 4 years.
That's right. It's been a minute.
And listen, as always, before we get into the topic of the day, we'd like to go into our blissful moment, which is either something that we did or something that happened to us during the week.
So do you have a blissful moment? I'm sure you do.
I'm always blissful. I was born blissful.
Okay, sir. Here we go. All right. So what's your blissful moment, baby?
See, but in reality, I am blissful.
I know you are.
But the moment that that I think really was the highlight of my week was on my day off. We took some time in the afternoon. We kind of waited until the sun get a little bit easier to deal with.
Yeah.
Cece wanted to go midday.
I did.
But we went until the sun kind of, a little bit not as hot.
Right.
And we took the kids to the park and spent some time with them.
Which was fun.
Sometimes outdoors.
I need it. Y'all know I'm home all the time with the kids and I'm home running the business. I needed the time out.
I needed it too because I leave my house at 7:30 in the morning, which the sun's barely up. And I leave my office at 5:30, 6 o'clock. The sun is down. So, and typically I stop, get some errands done, and come home. So I need the time out as well.
Yeah, so it was good.
Yeah,
it was good. We had a good time.
Yeah, it's just good. I mean, time outdoors is always good for us because we don't get to spend a whole lot of it out. So when we get to go out, we kind of make the best of it.
Yes, yeah. And the one thing, of course, the kids, they love being outdoor with either her sister or their cousins, and I think it's great when you see all the kids get together and having a good time, especially on Tuesdays. They were over at my parents' house. And last weekend, they were at your parents' house, with their cousins. They get loud when
they get with each other.
So, y'all, it just gets so crazy. My nephew be the loudest of all, okay? My nephew, this boy can scream.
Your daughter can scream, too. She's got this really sharp scream, which that gives me a headache.
Yes. And it was a headache time on Tuesday. Okay. Yes. You have like 4 kids screaming like crazy. Y'all, for those of you who don't have children, let me tell you, enjoy the quiet time.
Yes.
Enjoy your moment. Enjoy your time right now, because when the kids come, y'all, it's constant mommy, constantly, loud, because you don't really get the quiet time unless if they're asleep. Like I was in the shower and my daughter's like, I was in the shower. Mind you, I'm in the shower. And my daughter came and knocked on the door. Mommy, look what I made. And I was like,
she needed to share that with you.
I feel like the girls, when it comes to like them showing me stuff, they just don't care whether if I'm in the middle of something. They're just like, Mommy, look what I made. But it was great. I was like, nice.
That's why you got to take them outdoors where they can scream.
Yes.
And when they're in an open area, they can scream.
Yes.
They can scream. You don't get to hear it as much, but when you're in a confined space and they're screaming.
Yes.
I know on Tuesday, I was getting a headache.
Yes. And I applaud those moms who take their kids out almost every day because they need that 30 minutes to themselves, right? Like, because when their kids is on the monkey bar or whatever they're doing, you don't get to hear the screaming. No, you don't. So you literally having your own time, which is good, which we all need to have our own moment. We barely happen, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. So that was my blissful moment. We went out.
Yours, our blissful moment.
I thought it was just mine.
Well, that maybe it was.
I'm claiming this one.
Okay, good for you.
Anyway, let's get into the topic of the day, which is how to get on the same page with your partner. Yeah. This topic kind of came about because last Saturday, Sissy and I, we went out to go help, a client find some places. And it seems like the whole morning, her and I, we weren't gelling. We were like, she was, I don't know, in Mars and I was still on Earth. We were in a completely different place. It seems like we weren't understanding each other. It started started at the beginning of the day.
Okay.
Something we were supposed to get for the client. It wasn't until we were on our way to the client.
Okay. Listen, let's pull back a little bit. This was not my fault. Okay. Have a couple that I'm showing this, like a few homes. And my husband, as the man, like to put the map together, make sure that we're not zigzagging on the road. He was supposed to grab the folder that I clearly hand over to you early in the morning at 7:30 because we had to be out by 9:30, drop the kids to your mom, and then we go do our business, right?
Yes.
So mind you guys, he didn't bring the folder, and then he blamed it that I'm the one didn't grab the folder. And mind you, we're supposed to meet with the client at 11 o'clock, I think it was, after we dropped the kids. Thinking we have time, we're gonna, leave your parents a little bit like 5 minutes before, so we cannot, so we're not rushing basically. And then when we got in the car heading to meet with the client, we realized that he didn't grab the folder.
You see how you see how
he didn't grab the folder, and we had to come back home, which was like 10 minutes later.
I know I'm going to get a chance to tell my story or my side of the story, but I'm not going to tell it now because I don't see me winning this at all. But there were some mishap in communication.
Okay.
And I leave it at that because I leave it at that. And then for the rest of the day, we wanted to stop by this store when I said, okay, I'm stopping here, but she thinks we're stopping there. And then we were supposed to do this when I'm heading there, and then she thought we were going there. So we were not
in sync at all. But, and I'm sure.
But when I look back, is that we communicating, but we have to be very specific. Say for the morning, I printed the documents. I put them on her desk. She grabbed them and moved them to another table.
Okay, here we go. I feel like the blame is putting on me right now.
But it's not putting blame. It's saying, and I know before we left, I say, hey, did you grab it? But if I was specific and says, hey, did you grab the things that I printed and put on your desk? That would have made a difference, right? And this is where communication is important. And that could happen. I mean, this was just us getting stuff done on a day. But imagine if you're in a relationship where nothing seems to be happening and you're like, what's going on? But that's where you got to take a step back to see what's causing it. So today, this is what we're tackling. We're tackling this topic, which is real.
It is real.
And it's how to get, and we've experienced it. Now, I'm not the type that goes into, I'm going to blame you because at the end of the day, what happened. It's what do we do going forward.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the type that likes to fight to say, hey, I did this and I'm right. Because I don't care if I'm right or not. All I care is that, are we moving forward?
Yeah.
That's me. Yes, I may have, but it's already passed. So being on the same page with your partner is important. Whether you've been together for years or just starting out, being on the same page with your partner is essential.
Yes.
For a healthy relationship.
I agree. Healthy and happy. You gotta put happy in there.
We can be healthy.
And it's not always easy. It wasn't easy last Saturday.
I'll tell you about it. When we seek to be right, it makes it even harder.
True. It does. And I feel the same way too, where I'm not. And let me say this. I had to apologize to him later on because we had to be at a party later on that evening. To babe, listen, I apologize for my behavior throughout the day because I don't know what it was. I was just on the edge because we weren't thinking at all. We weren't thinking like the whole morning. Like the morning started fine. But like you said earlier, I think you had mentioned this specific folder, Because the whole time I'm thinking, yes, I have it. Because I have my binder that I bring with me always when I'm meeting with a client. But if he had mentioned, like, did you grab the printout, the folder that I put on your desk, then it would have been different. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And I did apologize again, because I think it's great to apologize and let your partner know, hey, listen, I'm so sorry for my behavior. And if it really, because I know he was pissed off.
Like, no, I wasn't.
You were. You were, and it's okay, because I know you and I can tell that you were pissed off. And I think sometimes we have to be real with each other, right? We have to be very like, listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is what happened, and I didn't like it. And I know you don't want to say you weren't, but I know you, and I know your reaction, your behavior was like.
I looked at it this way, and I look at a lot of things that way. Sometimes Cece will think that I'm pissed because she expects me to be pissed.
No, I know you.
But if I get upset, yes, I had to really, I mean, I don't normally like drive faster than normal, but because we had people waiting on us, I made sure that I drove a little bit more aggressive than usual, because I needed to make sure that we get back home, grab the documents, and then continue on our route to meet with the client. That's probably why she thought I was pissed. But I looked at it this way. We on our way to handle something. If we get into a heated argument, whoever we're going to be servicing will not get the best of us. And I always look at it this way. Yes. Yeah. You know, I've taught myself to look beyond and think of what the next thing we need to do is, and how do I make sure that whatever state that I get myself in right now, make sure that it doesn't impact the next thing we need to do. Right. Because it wouldn't be fair to whomever we were going to meet to have had a heated argument before we get there. Right. It doesn't make sense. So, and I'll tell you, there's arguments you get into that are, because when something happened, it happened. You look to see, okay, how do we prevent it from happening next? And acknowledge the fact. We acknowledge that we weren't gelling. We weren't communicating to a point that was effective.
Right. We weren't syncing. It's like you speaking. To me, I feel like it was more like, we were like speaking a different language. And especially when it comes to, the decisions, how we were getting out, what we were going to do. And I truly feel like my language and yours didn't really like sync at all. Because
she was thinking that we're doing one thing and I'm thinking we're doing something else. Simple. We're going to Starbucks. She said she wanted to get a drink from Starbucks. And I'm like, okay, let's go to, in her mind, we're going to that Starbucks, but we need to stop by another store. But in my mind, I'm thinking we're going to the other store before we go to Starbucks. But in her mind, she was thinking we're going to Starbucks before we go to the other store. And those were all like simple things. And then,
of course, the store, we were going to go to Marshall's, and you thought the route that you were going to go. It was maybe last weekend was some kind of day in the atmosphere or something in the atmosphere is what I'm trying to say. Because we were like off,
we
y'all.
Can't blame it on the atmosphere.
And I'm sure
miscommunication happened. Miscommunication happened. And
yes.
And it bounds to happen to any one of us.
Right. But when listen, it does happen, that day was just like off.
One after the other.
It was like one after the other. And we were very, very off. And it really felt like if we were the type of couple where like, you know what, forget it. I'm not doing this no more. We could have like called a day off and not do anything.
Could have been. And listen, like I said, sometimes it feels like you're speaking a different language, especially when it comes to some big decisions and some goals. I mean, those things we were talking about, those are like tiny things.
They were tiny. I have a buyer looking to buy a house. It's not tiny. It's like a $10,000 commission.
But this being on the same page still remains one of the biggest challenges that married couple would face.
Yes.
And the more you can operate on the same page, the better. You're bound to be on different pages. Yeah. There's no way of avoiding it. You're two different people.
Yeah, I agree.
From different backgrounds. You have different ways of doing things.
Different personalities.
Although Sissy and I, we've been together for long enough that we kind of sync together on a high level.
Yeah, we do.
But we're still running 2 days like last Saturday,
We're not perfect. We're not perfect, and we're still working on it. And there's days where, my husband would be like, I stopped by the groceries, and I'm like, did you grab this? And I'm like, oh, you didn't say that, or vice versa.
Yeah. So none of us are perfect.
Right.
And we admit our flaws.
Yeah.
And we're working on it.
Yeah.
So, but it all starts with keeping it real.
That's what I
like
said.
On Saturdays, I acknowledge from the get-go, yeah. I actually was the first one that says, I don't think we're gelling. We're not gelling at all. And throughout the day, we realized that we just weren't syncing. I don't know if me speaking of it made it so that we didn't gel for the rest of the day.
Even at the party, I feel like when we got there. Yeah, even later on the evening when we were going in the car, you would have took a picture. And I was like, what? I missed it. I completely missed it.
Or the very last part
there
in the
to be
party.
Something in the atmosphere.
She's like, stand there. I'm stepping
out.
out.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm like, why am I standing here? The party's over.
Yep. And then I'm outside with my mom. Next thing you know, I see them coming out. I was like, where y'all going? I thought I said, wait until I'll be right there.
What are we waiting for?
Y'all, this was not good.
But it started with keeping
it.
It started with keeping it real. It started with being open and really hearing your partner and hear what they have to say.
Right.
And that really helps you lay the groundwork. But if you find that you're denying the fact that you're not syncing or you're not on the same page and you're focusing so much on I am right, you are wrong, you'll continue to be out of sync.
I agree.
So be open, be honest. And if you screwed up, accept the fact that, you know what? I screwed up. Apologize if needed.
Like I did.
Yeah, it's not easy getting an apology from her.
I don't usually do anything wrong. I'm keeping it real.
I was shocked.
I don't usually do anything wrong. What are you trying to say? I don't do anything. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm just saying
it's not easy getting an apology
from.
Not
true, baby. I do apologize sometimes.
Oh, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying it's not easy.
Because I'm never wrong. Most of the time you be wrong.
You see what I mean? You see?
And I want to say, authentic communication is the name of the game. You got to be authentic. You got to be real, right? Because I said what I had to say, my 2-piece, and I said, babe, listen, I apologize. And then we,
carry
on. It's not about, putting a wall, not want to see anything, not want to say sorry, I'm so sorry. And it has meaning. Don't just come and say, darling, I'm sorry for what I did. Okay. I just don't feel this was like real. To me, I'll feel like this was something that you just
I am glad that I got, she apologized because I don't normally get these stuff. So I saved it. I should have recorded it.
That's not true. Well, anyways.
I think I'm gonna have you re-apologize. So
it's not gonna be real the second time.
And I know so far we've laid the understanding that communication is where it starts.
Yes.
So you guys got to witness how we deal with some of our challenges, or at least the challenge that we faced over last weekend. But how do you approach these times that are inevitable in your relationship, whether you're married or not? You're bound to run into time where you just not syncing. You and your partner on 2 different pages.
Right.
So today we're about to drop some knowledge on how to bridge those gaps and level up your relationship games.
That's right.
Yeah. So it all starts with keeping it real.
Hey, listen, you got to keep it on 100. Okay. That's what they say. That's what the people say out there. 100. Yeah.
Keep it, I don't know about 100, but keeping it real. Keep it 1,000. Don't sugarcoat things. If something's not, acknowledge the fact that we're not where we need to be in. And open up and really hear what your partner has to say.
Yes. Active listening.
You have to make sure you hear.
Yes.
And with that knowledge, then you can, focus on, okay, how do we go from here? How do we build, how do we fix whatever? Now, in our case, we know we weren't gelling.
Yes.
Apology and so, but I was already thinking, what happened. I realized that maybe I wasn't clear in how I communicated what she needed to pick up. In that case, next time I'll either take it myself or ask in a more specific way. So, but be open and you have to learn to not lead with blame.
Yes.
Because when we start saying that, man, I thought I told you to take this. What you didn't take it. This is when I this one. No, Because all that does is start irritating you and irritate the person that you communicate. Yes, if it happens, it happens. It's not the end of the world. A lot of times, sometimes we think things that happens can't be fixed. And because of that, we take the approach that, oh yeah, it's the end of the world. It's so bad. It's the worst. No, there's always a fix for everything. So be honest and be open and keep it real.
Yeah, that's right. Be real, like you said earlier. I think authenticity is really the way, like you got to be able to communicate with your partner and be real with your partner. Like you said, keep it real, right? Because I don't like being phony, and I'm one of those people where I'm very real sometimes. I can be. But I think it's important for you to know that if you keep it real with your partner, it's the best way of helping you grow and not putting any filter, not like being phony and saying in a way where you know you don't mean it.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important for you to really, like you said earlier, keep it real, like keep it 100. It's so important.
Yeah. And in communication, there's no way you can get it wrong. You know, you have to make sure that you're doing your best. Now, this is an aspect of any relationship you have to keep improving on. You know, you got to be willing to open up and honestly share your thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
That's something and please, I've learned that Cece and I, we feel differently about things. She can feel emotional on things, but I don't. But just because she needs to express herself emotionally to me, that doesn't mean I have to dismiss her.
Right.
So allow your partner to share their thoughts and listen in. I don't get so hung up on things when they happen. I'm very quick at moving on. She's different.
I am very much.
But that doesn't mean I still owe it to her to listen and do my best to empathize with her emotions.
Listen,
I do my best.
Yeah.
But you know, being able to communicate with each other, whether it's an emotional communication or just any other types of that allows you to get really strong in your relationship. And remember, it's not just about talking, as you mentioned earlier. It's about listening.
Yes.
And you gotta truly hear what your partner is saying.
Yes.
Not hear it in one ears and let it go at the other. And I'm talking about really listen and listen to it all.
Right.
And then if you have to give any inputs, then you do it. But allow yourself to hear it just so you can really do your best to see where they're coming from.
Yes, and ask them to repeat what you just said and see if they were really listening to you. Which, you know, men don't listen. Men don't listen. And it's so important for you to, you know, to test them and make sure that they really understand and they were listening.
Yeah, she's not just saying this. She actually tests me. And good thing I'm good at paraphrasing what people tell me.
Yes, you are. Say that.
Yeah, but you know what? It's important to listen because by listening, you can really get to understand where they're coming from. And if there's a need to compromise or maybe do something different or maybe meet them halfway or maybe see things in their ways that could have been maybe better than the way that you were seeing it.
Right.
Be willing to do so.
Yes.
You know, compromise is important because it allows you to give in a little. And if you're giving in for the people, for the person you love, why not?
Yes, that's right. And I think what you said is so important. And of course, once you really got that communication flowing, the next thing is definitely for you to find common ground. And a lot of us don't really know what that is, you know? So again, we talked about this last week on the podcast when we talk about, you know, we talk about goals, right? Share values and all that and dreams, how to support your partner. So it's literally where you have to share values and goals, make sure that those are in a way where, you know, helps you with decision together, right? So there's people, like I said, again, out there, like they don't know ways to find common ground, but I really feel like to find common ground is really the key to relationship and communication. Yeah,
it's important. You know, when we're talking about syncing, being in the same page, we got to have things that we see eye to eye on.
Right.
we got to have objectives that we're working together towards. We have to have goals that, and this is where, because the more commonalities we can find in the things that we do, the better. That doesn't mean we won't have things that are different. We will. But if we have things in common, whether it's personality wise, there's certain things we do alike, or maybe certain things we'll like. Right. Find those common ground, because those will be kind of like the things that keeps us together. When we run into major incompatibility, major issues, we can focus on those things that we have in common to bring us back together. So yes, it's key to have these things in common. Right. You know, and it could be, as you mentioned earlier, it could be values, it could be political views, it could be vacation spots, it could be a number of things, but find what those are. Right. Because those are the things that will keep you together.
Yeah, like you said, and I think it's okay to have differences, right?
Oh, yes.
Some of us, we don't think it's okay. It's okay to have differences.
You and I, we may look like we're like the same thing, but man, we far from being the same. Well, just for starters, I'm a lot taller than she is.
Oh, whatever.
I come from a tall family. She comes from short people.
Okay, I am not short. I'm 5'7", 5'8". I am not short.
Yeah, but
is height still a thing? Anyways, I don't think height is.
Height is very much a thing.
Height is no longer a thing now. People don't be like, you know, the man gotta be like, you know, this height, like 6'1". Nowadays, it's more like about you gotta.
I'm not operating in that space, so I don't know what people are looking for. Like I said,
nowadays it's like you gotta be 6 figures, you gotta make 7 figures, you gotta make 8 figures. Cause that's what it's.
Okay. So I guess that's what's out there. But you know, we are different people. We see a lot of things differently. Yeah. We do a lot of things differently. You know, and and it's okay. But we do a lot of things the same as well. That's why we're married to each other. Otherwise, we wouldn't be. Right. So we do have lots of things in common, especially when it comes to our goals and our future. We see a lot of these things in common because we want the same thing. Right. How we get to there is different. No, but it's good to have those things, because those are the things that keeps us together. And earlier we talked about compromise. Compromise is key.
The name of the game.
You know, it's important. You know, you gotta find ways to do things together with each other.
Fun things together.
Fun things, like going to the park like I did earlier this week with the family. Although there's a million things that I could have stayed home and do. But it was a much better and rewarding time spending it with my wife and the kids. Right? So find things to do together. Now, it could be a number of things. I mean, we did the park, but we do some cooking together. Yeah. Although, you know, I'm a better cook than
we did some cooking on Wednesday on your day off. I made some nice veggie eggs, and you were making the omelet.
Did.
You made the
I made the waffles. The waffles. And she put spinach and a lot of stuff. I mean, I can't even mess with that stuff.
Spinach, onion, green peppers, red peppers.
That egg was good. What's the word I'm looking for? Jacked up.
Loaded.
Loaded. There we go. Yes, but it was good. It was real good. Now, yes, I was there doing the and you know, it's something we do say when we cook. Well, when she cooks, I'm usually there, kind of lending a hand. I clean up. Right, and those are some of the things we did together. Yes, we go for walks together. She's been trying to get me to work out with her, so that's coming.
I hope so.
Find things to do together. Yes. Board games. That's something we've been trying to do together.
We've tried, but it doesn't work. I don't know.
We had dominoes. I don't know what happened to them, but we've tried. We've had cards. Ask me where they are. I have no idea.
I do know where they are.
Okay, so
the hashtag.
But you know, that just goes to show that we haven't gotten it all together. We're still working at it, and we got to keep finding ways. I know Cece bought some family games, but I don't know. Some of these games is almost like
the life game took us an hour.
Well, the life game wasn't bad. I mean, it was moving things along no way.
Yeah, but
there was those ones that we had cards for that has words and different things.
Right.
I wasn't born
There's
here.
one that we did with my brother and his wife where we played the hashtag game. Well, hashtag W.
That was hard because there's a lot of things that. Listen, for a foreigner like myself, there's a lot of things I haven't been exposed to.
But my brother did better than you, though.
Well, your brother's kind of like more into the culture than I am, I guess, to some extent, because he knew. But then again, you know, your brother does a lot of things with music.
Yeah.
I know many of these words that we need to scramble and so forth.
Right.
They were pop culture music related.
But you did pretty good.
Man, I always do good at stuff. It may be challenging.
We gotta do it again. I thought it was fun. It was fun.
So doing things together is important. And where compromise comes in, there's certain things that may not be something that you want to do together, but if it's important to your partner, by all means, find a time and do it. And that goes both ways.
Yes.
Yeah. So that game that I just mentioned, if it was up to me, I would never take part in it.
You wouldn't. And I know that for sure because you're not one of those people. But one thing about me for sure is I love me some cute time, some quality time, you know.
Those Sundays.
Baby, you know how quality time is important to me, not just on Sundays.
I know.
I think it's so important for, you to put some time aside for either yourself or the couple, you and your spouse.
Oh, yes.
It's important.
It's important to do so. And when you're thinking of how that gets you to be on the same page, when you're spending time together, the conversation you have is very different than the conversation you have when you're handling a number of other things. You can get real intimate.
Yes.
And that allows you to really, 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 sometimes you can have this conversation that helps you realize, you know what, the other day we weren't. This is what I'm going to do different to make sure that we don't run into this. So you can have these kind of conversations where you can look back at how things were, or you can look forward as to, this is what I'd like things to be.
Right.
And this is what I'm going to do to make sure we get there. I've had a number of these moments, although I haven't been able to deliver on all of these promises that I've made, but I'm working on them. But when you spend quality time, not only it becomes time that you can get more intimate and closer to each other, but there's some issues that may have happened. You can kind of bring them up, and in a very forgiving environment or settings, you can kind of talk things out and find solutions.
Yeah,
for
not
them.
at home though. Either.
But listen, you go out at dinner, you go for a walk, wherever you go, just take it out of the normal settings where you are. Like for instance, it'd be crazy if her and I sitting here on this podcast table having a conversation. No, we do so many things here. We need to pull us out of this environment where we could be, because believe me, we think differently, depends on the settings that we're in.
Right, we do.
So quality time.
Yes.
Helps make that connection better.
It does.
And don't forget to celebrate the good things that are happening. I know sometimes as people, we like to get focused on the wrong, the bad thing that may have happened, and we hold grudges. But no, there's a lot of good things that happen as well. So take time to celebrate those good things. It doesn't matter if it's big
or small. Yeah, I think it's important for you to acknowledge each other, to acknowledge your partner. And know that, hey, listen, I see you trying, I see you pushing through, and you got to show appreciation, for the progress that your partner made.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that, it really, like you said last week on the podcast, I think it was on our Blissful moment, where I mentioned about the pictures. Every morning when I work out, I send you pictures. And then when you're like, great, good job, honey. Not that I want to hear it. Not that I'm already know.
You want to hear it. You want to hear it.
It's not even about the seeing or hear good job, honey. It's great, but it's just for me knowing that I need to send it, knowing that he wouldn't care whether if I send a picture. I feel like that's how it is. You wouldn't really. Oh, you look for it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Because to me, it's like, okay, I told him that I want to send a picture to you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And sometimes Friday. Soon
I'm going to start expecting it on Saturdays.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
And Sunday.
No. But it's great that, hearing or pushing myself, knowing that, hey, I got to get on the treadmill for 30 minutes or 25 minutes. And he'll see it. And once he sees it, he's going to, of course, do whatever he do with it. Right.
I look at it and I would send quick text, great job, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, and then that's it. And I'm not looking for anything major. I'm just
I like it.
Holding myself accountable, knowing that I have to send this picture and I have to get on the treadmill. That forces me to get on there every day. Yeah. Well, 3 days a week.
So
4 days a week.
And this would definitely keep her going because now she feels obligated to send the picture, and that help keeps that positive momentum.
Yes.
So, and when it comes to dealing with potential issues in your relationship, yes, celebrating these little wins could definitely change the energy around you guys.
Right.
But if you run into a case where you can't seem to get resolutions on your own, it's okay to seek help from outside. You know, if you're struggling and you realize you're just not gelling, you can't seem to understand each other, yes, seek help. You know, there's counseling services that can help with stuff like this. Because, you know, sometimes when you end things, when you end it, you can't see the possible solutions. When someone's sick coming from the outside, now, again, take it from an expert, because there are people, all they'll do is side with you and that just cause more problem. But get an impartial expert to really be the outside view of what's going on with you, and they can point you in the right way. So yes, if you run into issues and you realize you can't make it happen on your own, get help.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And I think too, you know, you're facing challenges, get yourself either a therapist or, like you mentioned earlier, a professional, and or your priest, your pastor, whoever, someone that you feel close to, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's always good for you to seek guidance.
Someone you know who's going to tell you not what you want to hear, but what you need to do or what's important for your relationship.
Yes.
Because there are people that just tell you what you want to hear because they want to make you feel good.
They want to make you feel good. Listen, my mom is one of those people that will tell you like it is, because this lady has no filter.
Yes.
And you know that about your mother-in-law.
You got to be careful.
She has no filter, and I don't want thing. And it takes time.
Yes.
It takes time. It takes time. I know one thing my mom always said when I'm complaining to her about my business, and I'll tell her, you know, this is hard. This is hard. And she always tell me, you know, Rome wasn't built in one day.
And your relationship will take time for you to really, really get things running the way you want it to.
Yes.
You know, we've been together for 14 years, and from time to time we run into little issues.
We've been married for 14 years.
We've been together for 15, for 16, for 17, for 18 years.
Oh my God.
Well, I had to touch all of them because I'm not quite sure which one is right.
But
so
which one is it though, baby?
I would say 18.
Yeah, you're right.
That's me adding 4. See, the way to make sure I don't mess this up, wherever we are now, I add 4 to it. Listen, building a strong foundation of trust and communication and understanding takes a lot of effort.
And time. Yes.
But you know what? It's all worth it in the end.
That's right.
It's all worth it.
It really is.
Listen, I would not want to be married to anyone else but this woman.
Oh, same here,
Despite the fact that sometimes she makes my beard grow grayer than they should.
Are you sure it's me, not your girl? Not your daughters?
And listen, it's been a great journey, and I intend it to be a great journey for us. And I wish the same thing for you as well.
Yes.
And this brings us to the end of this podcast today. I'm hoping that what we've shared with you guys, starting with our moments from Saturday on how we weren't gelling and
we weren't syncing,
to what we've shared with you on some of the things that you can do to help. I'm hoping that this gives you some things that you can apply to your own relationship. And if you're already doing it, by all means, let's share some of the things that you're doing in your own relationship.
Right.
That could be helpful to someone who's watching this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, we live in a world, or we live in a life where there's not one thing that solves every problem. There's always another way of fixing things or dealing with things. And if you have that way, please, we applaud you. We encourage you to share it. So that's all the time we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Blissology Podcast.
Yes.
And we hope you found this episode to be helpful and insightful. And we can't wait to hear about your own experience. So in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, make sure that you're gelling.
Make sure that you're thinking.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.